The Sony A8H or the Sony A8G? Which one should you guys be buying in 2020? Well, that's what we're going to be talking about today, and I'm going to dive right in without wasting any of your time on any BS, okay? Buy the Sony A8G. Why? Because the Sony A8G is going to provide basically the same exact picture quality and benefits of the Sony A8H for less money, with like literally a couple of nuanced differences. So unless you're planning on doing a side-by-side comparison all the time with these TVs, you're not going to notice the difference. It's seriously negligible at best. And I say that because, simply put, they both are going to be HDMI 2.0. They're both going to be, Sony's version of OLED, right? And they both have excellent picture processing. So you don't lose with either one of these TVs, and I need to make that abundantly clear. However, let's talk about some of the differences, okay? So obviously the big one is that the newer model has the X1 Ultimate chip. Now, the X1 Ultimate chip sees things like a color space management system, which in English just means you have a way to fine-tune your color, and it also sees depth enhancement and dimensionality enhancement around objects and just the overall scenery, and making your TV look, again, more three-dimensional. And it really does look fantastic. Now, that out of the way, it also isn't light years ahead of the Sony X1 Extreme chip, a chip that used to be on Master Series televisions back in 2017. So needless to say, Sony is still doing a fantastic job on the A8G, just like on the A8H with picture processing, and literally like all the same features are really there for the most part. And in fact, the newer Sony A8H is missing some of those picture options that you would have on the A8G for whatever reason I couldn't tell you. So food for thought there. You have more creative power over your settings on the older model. Now, why this is such a big deal is because if you're using this for HDR, HDR will demand that you basically throw away one of your picture settings, or picture presets rather, with Dolby Vision being the only real exception, because Dolby Vision comes with its own picture preset baked into the TV that is non-negotiable, right? You can't change it. But if you're using HDR10, then you're kind of up what's creek without a paddle, and you have to choose which one of your presets you're going to throw away. So the Sony A8G will give you more presets, so you can choose one that you would probably not use as much, tune it up, and throw that one away and never really touch it for anything else, because when you go back to SDR, those settings will still stay, and it will make your obviously SDR experience look worse by comparison. So food for thought there. Now, other differences between these two models is that obviously they're trying to target a newer audience with the hands-free voice control and talking about things like eARC, but let's be clear, hands-free voice control is nice, but you don't really want somebody listening in all the time, your TV on standby all the time, just waiting for a voice command. That's a little creepy in my personal view. Call me old-fashioned, but that's just how I see things. You don't really need that. It doesn't change your picture quality experience. And, when we're talking about things like eARC and all that, you can still get eARC on the Sony A8G, contrary to what people have been saying. I have been able to play DTS and Dolby Atmos files on my Sony HTZ, I believe it is, or something like that. I can't remember the letters before my soundbar, but it's the Sony Z9F soundbar from like 2018, and I get the same Dolby Atmos and DTS:X and all that stuff. Like, I don't have any problems getting advanced audio on my Sony A8G through pass-through. So I know there are some lies on rtings.com that you just can't get it. It's just not possible, and that's definitely false. Pass-through is totally a thing, and I've shown that like thousands of times with various TVs, even on Samsung models as well. So, food for thought there. Everything you read online isn't always true. But to sum this video up without, again, dragging it on any further, just buy the Sony A8G because it is the better value for your dollar. You're getting an exceptional picture quality that is, again, like identical to the Sony A8H and better as far as the value in some areas. So it's up to you on what you choose to decide. I know the A8H has slightly lower input lag, but again, it doesn't really make a big difference because, as you guys probably saw, and if you didn't, I did a video showing that against PC gamers, I was able to get a rage quit, and that's a big deal because they're usually on 0 millisecond monitors. So really, like, all the things that people could argue at this point as to why you shouldn't buy the A8G would be easily debunked by me in like seconds, because I'm living with it every day, and literally showing how this TV holds its own against the market. So I hope by giving this information it finds you guys well. If you need help, ask in the comments down below, and I'll do what I can to help you out and save you some money. So smack a like for just being that guy. Thanks so much for watching the #1 brand in honesty, and until the next video, I'll see you guys later.